Alright, this video will explain the process and methods I use to fletch my own arrows. So, for you guys just getting new into fletching your own arrows, this video is for you. Even somebody who's been doing it for a couple years, you might pick up a thing or two. I don't know. So, first thing you're going to do is order your blank arrow shaft. You already have the specifications of the length you're going to want and the spine of your arrow. So, this comes in the mail. This is how it's going to come: blank. No fletchings, no inserts, no nothing. This next tool that I'm going to talk about isn't a must if you're going to buy arrows without fletching, but it is a must if a fletching falls off and you want to refletch your arrow. This is a zip strip tool, and what it does, it rides along the diameter of your arrow and it actually shaves off or removes the old fletchings from the shaft of the arrow, plus a little bit of glue that'll be left on there. So you just go like that, it removes the fletching, and you move on. This next tool isn't a must, but it is if you're critical like I am. This is a G5 ASD arrow squaring device, and what this does, sometimes from the factory when you get arrows cut to length, like this arrow comes in a 32 length, I shoot 28, so I get a couple inches cut off. Sometimes what they do, if the blade's bad or whatever, the best way to explain it is the arrow shaft itself at the head, where your broadheads and your fill points are going to sit, they sometimes are angled. You know, the saw might be off a little bit, or it might be the user error or whatever, but it's sometimes angled. And what this arrow scoring device does is make that flat, so there's a good seat between the broadhead and the actual fill point with the arrow. And all you do with that, if you suspect you know, if it's very visible where your shaft's been cut wrong or anything like that, it's not square, you'll lay it in here and you'll rub it along like so against this abrasive head, and after a while it'll actually shave the head of the arrow where your fill point and everything's going to go flat, so you'll have a nice tight seat. Like I said, not a must-have, but if you're critical like I am, you're going to want it. So well, after that, what I do personally is if I use this arrow scoring device, there'll be a little bit of shavings that'll actually go inside the arrow, since this is a carbon shaft arrow. So I'll wet a paper or a cotton swab here with rubbing alcohol, and I'll run it down the inside of the shaft to clean out the excess carbon that might have came off. And as you can see there, just from doing that 3 times, there's already a little bit of excess. Now, I clean this out because when you put your inserts in, you want a strong bond, you want a nice bond, you don't want any debris in there that could hamper the bond between your insert and the shaft. So we did all that, we cleaned it out, we let the rubbing alcohol dry. We then take our insert, and some companies will send 2-part epoxy, you mix, and you'll spread it on your insert. Not a lot, but some companies do that. Instead of using that, I just like to use super glue. So I'll take my super glue, I'll just run a line, not the whole way from the tip of the shaft, because you will get some that push up and it can get into the actual threads, which can cause a problem with getting an insert, screwing an insert in and all that. So I'll start a little bit down from the head of the insert and just run a little bead down to the base. And then what I will do, once I do that, I'll stick the insert in as far as it wants to go by itself, and I'll twist so I can spread that glue evenly. I'll twist the shaft of the arrow so it'll spread that glue evenly. And then, since this is an HIT, Hidden Insert Technology arrow shaft, Easton sends this little tool. And what this does, and I'm not going to push this, pretend there's an insert in here, I don't want to push it in because I'm just going to waste it. This is an old arrow, I'm not going to use it or anything. This is just for reference for you guys. So since this is HIT, Hidden Insert Technology, they send this tool, which you push your insert into the shaft, it stops, and that determines the depth of your insert. So this is a nice little tool that Easton sends with the HIT Technology arrows. So your insert's in, it's dry. Next thing you're going to do is get some sandpaper. This is a 60 grit, I believe. Don't need quite this much grit of sandpaper, but anywhere from the length of the top of the arrow to where your flexion is going to go. I just like to rub it and it gives a little, it just gives a better area for the glue to bond. It's not, it creates little grooves, and that glue will sit in there when you put your fletchings on, and it'll actually grab a lot better. So we put a knock on just for visual reference. So you sanded, actually there's already an insert on that end. So you sanded where your fletching's going to go. You have your knock on. This you're going to need. This is a Blitzenberger jig. This is used specifically for fletching. And what it comes with is this stand, which has a bunch of different settings on it, whatever you want to set your preference of arrows or your fletchings. I'm not going to go in depth. You could spend the whole video just on this. But it comes with those settings. And how it works is you always start, at least I do, because that's my setting, with the flat part of the knob. I don't know if you can tell, but that's flat, facing up. So what you'll do is you'll insert your arrow shaft, and the knock, it's actually split inside like a V, and the knock sits in that V. So you'll sit it in there, and then on my clamp I have a predetermined mark where I like to have my fletching sit. So I'll take my fletching and I'll actually put in the clamp, and I'll run the base of the fletching up to where my mark is. Press it in, excuse me, seat it in there. Take some fletching glue, you're also going to need this. And what I do, excuse me, I run a bead from the very top, not a lot, the whole ways down. And it's good to have an even coat. Don't go too fast, you might get some bubbles like I did there because I just opened this. But you run it down, take it off, and then this works on a magnet. There's a magnet back of this clamp. So you'll press it on, and then I sit the back of the clamp with the base of this base so it's nice and tight. Put my, don't press, just lightly touch my fletching to the shaft of the arrow. Wipe off a little bit of excess. And then open the clamp and just pull it off. And there's your first fletching. And then you turn it, you'll hear it click, next one. Turn it, hear it click, next one. You're done. Well, except me, I like to take a little bit of fletching glue, put it on the tip, the base, let it hang, sit like this, let it dry, and you're good to go. And that's how I do it. So if you have any questions, let me know, comment on the video, like, and good luck if you're going to fletch your own arrows. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.